is going on, everyone? It is Eternal here with another episode of Raid Shadow Lake. Today I'm doing a champion guide and it's going to be on Sinesha. So she is a fantastic champion. She is the twin sister of Skullcrown, so they work together in terms of abilities. And you'll see why that they synergize. So her A1 attacks all enemies and it places an extra hit on enemies with less than 50% HP. So very similar to Skullcrown, but the opposite. So places an extra hit on enemies with less than 50% HP, whereas Skullcrown is above. Then you've got her A2, Vaporize, it's a very strong ability. Attack one enemy, puts the target's skill on cooldown, and heals the ally with the lowest HP by 25%. Great ability, really useful as like a little spot heal. And it obviously landing on the target that really needs it. And her A3, Immortality, equalizes the HP of all allies. This is really strong. The HP levels of all allies will then be brought up to the level of the ally with the highest HP, then heals the target ally by 10% of their max HP. The thing that I love about Equalize is, if you have a 100% heal reduction on your character and you can't heal, if you think Ice Golems, for instance, or something like that, you will not be able to heal. So you can't heal your character, but you can still equalize their HP. So if you equalize the HP, it's brought up and it does not count as a heal. Then heals the target by ally by 10% of their max HP. That portion is classed as a heal. So that wouldn't apply to them, but the equalize would. So really strong ability. And it really makes her fantastic for dungeons coming up when you're trying to progress, and this is where I used it. And then her aura is increase ally HP and faction crypts by 31%. So she's quite good in faction crypts too because of the AoE capabilities there, particularly at the sub 14 levels I would say earlier on. So let's go over Sinesha's stats. Her HP is kind of moderate, it's okay for an epic. Her attack's quite low, but because of her multipliers, she still does really high damage. Defense is okay as well. Speed is fantastic. So her base stats are pretty good. Whilst her attack looks really low, her actual damage is really good. So it can be a little bit misleading, so don't always take the stats as like, oh, she's good, or he's good, or bad, or etc. Because the multipliers, the hidden multipliers that we can't see, are what really, determine a champion. So I'll quickly run over the gear that I'm rocking on her, and then I'll go over the masteries that I've been using, and I'll kind of rationale and explain why. So for the gear, because I've farmed Dragon the most, I ended up with quite a lot of the Toxic set. Now the Toxic set is not terrible on Sinesha. I'm sure there are better sets out there. You could be running something like crit damage or savage, but that would require farming lots of Fire Knight, and I've not yet done that. I've been focusing on Dragon because that dungeon is probably the best to farm first, and I would say it's one of the dungeons that people farm the most because of the gear sets that drop there. So weapon, I've gone for attack. Stats that I'm prioritizing are crit damage, speed, and attack. So she is definitely a well, she can be built two different ways actually. She can be built as a tank, or she can be built as an attack champion. I'm going to be looking at the attack champion kind of build and how I would look at building her that way. But she can be built as a spider tank as well, spider 20, an affinity tank. So there is a different build for that, and you'll be building her very tanky with like counter attack. You've probably seen some of the other guides out there for Spider 20 tanks, and they tend to rely off a counter attack and lifesteal. So you can build her that way, but she can also be built as an offense character because of her Burning Wave. Really strong, great ability. It's just really fantastic. So like I said, crit damage, crit, speed, and attack, and that's kind of basically those four stats. The poison toxic set works very well because of her A1 being an AoE, so you can drop a 2.5% poison on all enemies, really strong, particularly in dungeons. And let's talk about where I would look to use her. So Spider, you can use her as a tank, or early on you can use her to kill the spiderlings and clear the waves. Fantastic there. She is really good in Dragon, particularly Dragon 20, so she can be used in a Dragon 20 team. Midway into Arena, until I pulled a better Arena nuker, I was using her in that format there. And then you can kind of use her in some of the other dungeons lower on coming up. She's obviously fantastic in Minotaur, very usable in the keeps, and you can use her in places such as Ice Golems, but perhaps not 20 due to affinity, but certainly coming up, she is a character that can be used. Fire Knights, she can be useful for clearing the waves. I don't actually know if I was using her in my... No, I wasn't actually using her in my current team. But if we go to Dragon, she still features in my current team. So we've got a little bit of an idea of where she can be useful. Let's take a quick look at her Masteries, and what I will actually do is I will get rid of me. Okay. Now, you can see all of her Masteries, so if you want to screen grab this now, this is a great chance. I'll be popping myself back in a second, so... Okay. Right, let's have a look at the Masteries, and it's kind of a fairly, I wouldn't quite say quite standard, but I ended up going for Helm Smasher at the bottom, so that is something that you maybe like, oh okay. And the reason is I went for Helm Smasher over Flawless Execution or say War Master. She seems to hit really hard with it, so ignoring the target's defense is a really strong ability, and because my crit is not 100%, I'm not getting the most out of this 20% crit damage. So I feel like the Helm Smasher, and because you're AoEing, I feel like I get quite a lot of value out of that. But let's work the way down the tree. So I've gone for crit rate, crit damage, increased damage inflicted by targets with less than 40% HP, so that kind of doubles up with her A1. So if they're below 40% HP, dealing more damage too. Increased damage inflicted, so just kind of, you could pick that up, or you could pick up Heart Glory. I could probably switch that out actually, I could probably go for Heart Glory. Increased speed, this is really nice for dungeons. Whirlwind of Death really can ramp your speed up, so you can get 18 speed out of that in dungeons, really great. Cycle of Violence, so a chance to reduce the school cooldown, also great. Now I could probably have gone for Blood Shield here, and in fact I might even see that. Let's see if I'd gone for Blood Shield here, which Blood Shield would certainly be nice. I would not have been able to pick up Methodical, which increases the damage inflicted by this champion's default skill by 2, so you can go up to 10% increased damage on her default skill. So that's really strong on Sinesha, who is, particularly if you're using a counter-attack champion and kind of building a team around this, really strong, really strong. And then going down for Helm Smasher and just picking up a little bit of extra damage here. In the support tree, now it's worth noting you could go support or defense. You could certainly build her as a kind of counter attack with the retribution going down here, and that is certainly a solid option for dungeons. And because Sinesha doesn't really have what do you call it, a debuff, then you know, respecing this way, you could probably build her defense and perform excellently. But I had gone down the HP route, increasing her heals a little bit. Cycle of Magic, so again, pardon me, chance to reduce school cooldown, boosting her sets a little bit. Although because she's using the Toxic set, I'm not getting the most benefit from that. And then Spirit Haste increases speed for each dead ally. So really focusing on the speed for Sinesha. Retribution, like I said, certainly an option, but it's just kind of how I've got her built at the moment. Pardon me. So we've got an idea of what she does. We've got an idea of how to build her, and now it's time to see her in action. So we'll start off with Minotaur. So with Venus's AoE, defense down, and you know, I am gonna end up burning through these with Tyrell and Venus. But Sinesha certainly provides a lot of damage if she can get her attacks off. Let's see if we can see. Look at that, like just like 20Ks, really strong. And for this reason, I was using her in arena to nuke enemies. So the idea was, you know, drop those debuffs, get their defense and kind of a weaken on there, just like weaken the enemies. and then just boost my speed, boost my attack, just go in there and just nail the enemies, and it was a good time. It doesn't work on auto, you do have to manual Sinesha's attacks, but I was finding it was working for me, and it did help me in Gold 4 and certainly progressing. But as we can see, with all these poisons, all these attacks going on, the Minotaur's taking a bit of a bashing, and Sinesha finishes off with the bait. Fantastic. Run through dragons as well with her, the kind of very similar comp actually. I don't know how this team does. I've been changing my dragon team around a little bit. Got Arbiter just working on all of that, so we'll see how this goes. But I'll try to highlight some of Sinesha's capabilities, hopefully. Do we get to see a little bit of AoE damage there? Yeah. Bearing in mind this is Spider 20, so the mobs are quite strong. Trash is quite strong. But Sinesha kind of acting as a bit of a healer as well as providing some damage, so really useful. And obviously with Arbiter I've got that, you know, revive, and I've got lots of AoE here, and that's kind of the end of the game. Start bringing those down, fantastic. But you're getting to see some of the numbers that Sinesha's hitting, and I think she hits pretty hard actually. So, you know, with a weaken and decrease defense, she's hitting for twice. Both seem to be above 20,000 each time. Really strong. Fantastic for that role. Sinesha bringing the damage there, look at that. Really great. So we're on the dragon boss now, and this is where earlier on, whilst I was progressing in the dragon dungeons, the toxic set actually came in really handy for dragon. So obviously dragon, to get the dragon down itself, poisons are so strong. So characters like Venus, really great for being able to apply those poisons. When I wasn't able to run Cold Heart because just the team comp wasn't working at the time, Sinesha was really great, just applying some poisons. Obviously the runs were taking a bit longer. I think my first Dragon 20 run, it took about 6 minutes or something like that. But she was part of that team, and I feel like Dragon is one of the dungeons that Sinesha can really shine in. Should be finishing the dragon off any moment. There we go. So Cold Heart with the finisher there. Right, where else can she be useful? Let's see if I can try and show her in an earlier spider, slightly more nukey strap. I'll try this on auto. I don't know how this is going to go, but you know, full disclaimer, I don't know if this will work, but hopefully you'll at least be able to see how useful Sinesha can be on the spiderlings. We'll see. But yeah, so earlier on in the spider, you can kind of have a bit of an AoE team, and you know, it could be looking something similar to this. Certainly, I wouldn't expect you to have a Venus, but somebody like a Tyrell perhaps. Sinesha, you know, really helping to keep those spiderlings down. Cold Heart and Tyrell actually function as a turn meter reducer here. So as you can see, turn meter reduced just to keep that big spider kind of turn meters down. Apothecary boosting the speed, and then we've got AoE from Venus, Sinesha. Oh, look at that, that was great. So yeah, just trying to give you an example of what you might be looking for in a spider team. But Sinesha can certainly fit into an earlier spider team. And like I said, if you were building her in the tanky kind of counter-attack role, she could certainly slot in there too. Since this is more of an AoE comp, you're not seeing the true power of HP burn here. This is more straight up damage. Yeah, just wrecking those spiderlings there. And any moment, almost there. Where's the finisher? There we go. So there's the finisher. So let's check out the damage, see how they did. So Sinesha and Cold Heart actually quite close on damage, and if you think about how much damage that Cold Heart does with her A3 on the spider boss, and you know, she's pretty decked out, this girl. She, you know, could be better, but and that's spider 14. So that's just kind of an idea of damage that she can do on the spider. So it's pretty respectable. It wouldn't be right to do all of this without trying to get her to work in arena. I don't know how this is going to go again. Should be fine, but she's not speed tuned for arena, so we'll see. I can auto the first 3, I believe, and then Sinesha will have to manual. So this is the nuke strat. Not bad. You know, 3 out of 4, not too bad, and then just kind of... Oof. Free Voke on there. Yeah, I can probably just auto this. This guy's kind of a pain, but there we go. I'm trying to showcase a champion here, and you guys be ruining that. Like, just let me win, okay? But no, this is the true raid. Like, you know, some arena matches go okay, some don't. And like I said, I've not got her set up for arena at the moment. She is, you can see that immortality there, HP balance really strong. But she's just kind of finally got it. Okay, I'm going to leave that in the video actually, just to show you what arena can be like. You can certainly swap her gear out. So I've just gone for speed, attack, crit damage, attack. You know, just, and I mentioned the stats earlier. Kind of going for crit damage, speed, and attack. Really. Again, gear is not optimal. She's got a long way to go, honestly. But she's been really useful in dungeons, and just kind of picked up the attack and speed on the banner there. Just the best stuff that I had, really. I need to farm Spider a lot, so yeah. But I hope that you found this useful for somebody out there, at least, you know, one person. And if you pulled Sinesha, she's a really fantastic champion, and hopefully she'll help you progress to the later game. Just remember, it all depends on the team, and you will not have one champion carrying you the whole way. You need to build a team around it. So it's more about kind of what works with each other. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. This is me out, and I'll see you in the next episode.